Hi, I'm Salome from the Labor Search Service. Today, I want to talk to you about the contract zone and why it's important for unions to understand this concept. The contract zone has many names: the middle ground, the common ground, or the bargaining range. What it really means is the place where the possibility of agreement exists. Before entering into a conversation or negotiations, parties need to determine three positions. The first position is what is referred to as the ideal settlement. This is the most beneficial settlement that can, within realistic means, be achieved in negotiation. We usually open negotiation at this level, where each party presents its best imaginable deal. The second position is what we call the realistic settlement. This is the point that each party calculates as being within reach with reasonable skill in negotiation. What can we reasonably expect to leave the negotiation with? Our third and final position is what is referred to as the fallback position. This position represents the last resort of the parties involved, or the worst acceptable deal. Now, let's take a look at what outcomes we can expect with this information in mind. Let's use a simple scenario to illustrate how this may play out. We have two parties, a worker and an employer. Let's take a look at the workers' positions. Ideal settlement would be 6,000 Rand. The realistic settlement would be 5,000 Rand, while the fallback position is 4,000 Rand. Let's plot these on a line. Ideal settlement of 6,000, realistic settlement of 5,000, and a fallback position of 4,000 Rand. Now let's take a look at the employer's positions. The ideal settlement is 3,000 Rand, the realistic settlement is 4,000 Rand, and the fallback position is 5,000 Rand. Now let's plot these two. We have the fallback position of 5,000 Rand, the realistic settlement of 4,000 Rand, and the ideal settlement of 3,000. Now let's see what happens when we put them together. This scenario represents a situation where not only a contract zone presents itself, but there is also an overlap of the parties' respective realistic settlements. In this type of case, we can easily reach a settlement. There are a lot of other possible outcomes depending on the positions each party has. In this second scenario, a contract zone has presented itself in the form of an overlap of fallback positions. Settlement is within reach here, but can only be achieved with some difficulty and excellent negotiation skills. Both parties will have to be willing to make several concessions in this instance. In this third scenario, we see a situation where no contract zone exists, and therefore negotiations would be unlikely to lead to a settlement of any kind. Parties should reevaluate their positions before entering into negotiations. This explains why agreements are possible only when both sides' acceptable ranges overlap, and why some talks succeed and others stall. When we know our positions before going into negotiations, we can negotiate better. Now, let's ask ourselves, can I figure out if a contract zone exists before entering into negotiations? To do this, you'll need to use a combination of research and strategic thinking. There are three different components to this. Market research, where you look at industry benchmarks and past deals, as well as competitor pricing. Company research, where you look at financial reports, press releases, and public statements to get a sense of their priorities and constraints. You can also look at past behavior. Have they made similar deals in the past, and what were the outcomes? Think about things like, what are their needs and interests? What are their alternatives? What are their potential pain points or pressures. During negotiations, you can continue to gather information by asking questions. A great way to do this is to ask open ended questions. Instead of asking, "What's the best you can offer?" ask, "What's the most important to you in this deal?" Or, "What challenges are you facing that we could help solve?" Remember to listen actively. Pay close attention to what they say and how they say it. They may reveal information about their constraints or priorities through their language, body language, and tone. By meticulously preparing and gathering as much information as possible on your own position and the other parties, you can determine if a contract zone exists. If you conclude there is no contract zone, you'll know when it's time to walk away and reevaluate. For more videos like this and other great resources, visit our website and all our social media channels.